Hey there, friends, book besties, and anyone that's here because the algorithm knows you're striving to be super. I kick off every year with 12 book recommendations so you can own your next 12 months with a specific pick per month. It's like a charcuterie board for your brain, except this won't leave you feeling bloated. So this year is no different. Let's go. Alrighty, January, new year, new mindset. And I find it an important time to really set one's mindset for the year ahead. That's why I'm suggesting Finite and Infinite Games by James Carse. And if you've ever heard of people talk about loving the process, this book really dives into why that mindset matters. It's all about shifting from a finite win-lose mentality to an infinite one, where the journey, growth, and connections are the real rewards. Think of it like an epic road trip with your besties. The destination is great, but the laughs, inside jokes, and unexpected detours are what really make it unforgettable. Takeaway, start the year by focusing on playing the long game because that's where the magic happens. Oh, February, the month of love, overpriced roses, and let's be honest, emotional turbulence. That's why I'm suggesting Big Feelings by Fosslien, a delightful guide to really understanding those overwhelming emotions we all experience, but often pretend we don't. This book doesn't ask you to decode everyone else's feelings. It's about starting with the most important love story of them all, the one with yourself. I'll admit, I got hooked by the clever illustrations. Like, seriously, look at these. They're worth the price of admission alone. But it also gave me perspective on handling my own emotions with more compassion. Takeaway, emotions are like house guests. Acknowledge them and let them stay a while, but know that they'll eventually leave, especially if you stop feeding them so much attention. Yeah. March is here and it's a perfect time to sharpen those communication skills because, let's face it, the world is thawing out from winter and people are actually leaving their houses again. Conversations are picking up and you don't want to be the one mumbling awkwardly about the weather. That's why I'm recommending Supercommunicators by Duhigg. I've always been fond of his anecdote and insight style, and this one is like a crash course in how to truly connect through communication. Whether you're preparing for spring job interviews, rekindling relationships after hibernation, or just trying to avoid saying something regrettable at brunch, I mean, haven't we all done that? This book has you covered. Takeaway, mine is understanding that sometimes people don't want a problem solver, which is my default go-to, but rather they could just want me to be a listener and empathize, or it could be this thing called a social conversation about how we interact and or be perceived by others. April, yep, tax month. Or as I like to call it, that time of year when you realize that you should probably rethink your relationship with money. Enter Algebra of Wealth by Galloway. It's an instructional guide to achieving financial security without resorting to lottery tickets. Full disclosure, I'm a bit of a Prof G groupie myself, and his take on prioritizing talent over passion really hit home for me. His philosophy, discover your talents, master them, and let the passion follow, because that's where the cha-ching money lives. Takeaway, well, on top of the one I just mentioned, financial security isn't about taking big leaps. It's about consistent movements, like harnessing compound interest or finally setting up that savings account. Oh, and maybe cutting back on those artisanal avocado toasts or not. Yeah, you pick and you do you. Yeah. May. Flowers are blooming and so is the resurgence of my favorite classic, The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. Now, some of you might know this already and it's a little bit dated, it's been around, but it's really making a comeback. And honestly, it's about time. Why? Because the book is packed with fundamentals they really don't teach you in school. And this is the kind of stuff that can save you years of learning the hard way. Greene doesn't just hand you a playbook, he hands you a cheat sheet for navigating power dynamics without the drama. Takeaway? Power doesn't have to be Machiavellian. Sometimes it's as simple as letting others take the spotlight. That's smart, strategic, and way more effective than trying to reinvent the wheel. There's 47 other takeaways in that gem. June is Men's Health Month. So let's talk about something scientifically proven to be healthier than kale, and that's friendships. We Need to Hang Out by Billy Baker is written like a story. And honestly, it had me laughing out loud more times than I care to admit. The book's charm really lies in its relatable moments, the kind that make you go, oh yeah, I totally did that. And here's the kicker. Studies show that friendships are a cornerstone of happiness and mental health. So this isn't just a book recommendation, it's a life hack. My takeaway? Make the effort to put that date on the calendar with your buddies. I like to call it a mandate to make a man date. To start, it could just be a few beers, bad jokes, and debating who'd win in a fight, ninjas or pirates. It counts. July is here. We're halfway through the year, so let's hit the beach with a salty read, literally. Salt by Mark Kurlansky is a surprisingly fascinating deep dive into the world of, salt. Before you think I've eaten too much of it and drove myself crazy, I decided it was time to really take a break from all the self-help and business books. And that's with Mark, where he really shines a surprising amount of light on how our world works, all through the lens of salt. Think of it as the Sapiens of seasoning. It's written like a story packed with fascinating tidbits, and honestly, it made me see a spice rack in a whole new light. My takeaway? It's all about resources. The humble mineral has literally shaped civilizations, sparked wars, and built empires. So the next time you really sprinkle some of that on your fries, consider you're handling history. And maybe order another round of fries, because who doesn't love a good excuse to snack? August. It's hot, it's sticky, and let's be honest, your motivation probably melted somewhere in July, and I know mine did last year. And that's why The Motivation Myth by Jeff Haden is the perfect book for this point in the year. We're 8 months in, folks. It's way past the halftime show for 2025, and this book will help you fire up the engines for a strong second act. The best part? Haden debunks the idea that motivation magically shows up like a fairy godmother. Instead, he shows us how to build it step by step. Takeaway? Start small. Something like making your bed. Do one thing that makes you feel accomplished, and then stack those little wins, and before you know it, you're a productivity powerhouse. And hey, now you're ready to tackle the remainder of the year like a boss. September, the unofficial start of Get Your Life Together season. The kids are back in school, the office is buzzing again, and suddenly everyone seems to think you're a human equivalent of a Swiss Army knife. Enter The Art of Focus by Dan Doe. It's your life raft in a sea of distractions. I love this book for Dan's no-nonsense, philosophical style that somehow feels like he's giving you a pep talk and a reality check all at once. It's perfect for this time of year when focus becomes the ultimate superpower. Takeaway? Your attention span might be the MVP of productivity, but it needs training. Start by removing your phone from the room. It's not your sidekick. It's the hidden villain. This month, channel your inner Jedi and master the art of getting things done. October. When the leaves fall, the vibes get cozy, and it's officially time to stop playing around and start turning pro. Enter Turning Pro by Steven Pressfield, a book that feels like a motivational coach who also happens to make great coffee. I'm a big Steven Pressfield fan, and this book's tone really hits the sweet spot. It's like a warm-up lap for your ambitions. And why October? Because it's the perfect time to push through that end of the year slump and to finish strong. Takeaway? Professionals show up every day, even when they don't even feel like it. So no excuses, just commitment. So put down that pumpkin spice latte or bring it with you, I know I will. And get to work on becoming the pro you were meant to be. November. The holiday season is barreling towards us like a freight train wrapped in tinsel. And let's be honest, so is the stress. Enter Don't Believe Everything You Think, the mental reset button you didn't know you needed. This book is like having a best friend who gently reminds you that not every thought that enters your head deserves top billing. Takeaway? Most of the time, your brain is just being overly dramatic, like a soap opera villain twirling in its metaphorical mustache. So when those negative thoughts pop up, give them the side eye and question them, then send them packing. It's the perfect way to clear the mental space for all that pie and other goodies coming your way. And finally, December. The year's winding down, and let's be honest, we're all just looking for a little bit of a perspective amidst the holiday chaos. And that's why I turn to the in-between with Hadley, Vlahos. After months of self-help and business books, I wanted something different, something that felt like a heartfelt conversation. And that's where this book came in. This book might not be for everyone, but I loved it. It's packed with stories that offer a deeply human glimpse into how people reflect on their lives when their time is almost up. Takeaway? Don't wait. Tell people you love them, take the trip, and send that text you've been putting off. Life's too short for missed opportunities and unsaid words. This book will make you think about what really matters, just in time for a fresh start in the new year. So there you have it. 12 books, 12 months, and 12 ways to make your 2025 your best year yet. Let me know in the comments which book you're most excited to read or any that you'd have recommendations for. And hey, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and share it with a fellow book nerd. Until next time, happy reading, and I'll see you in the next video.